Welcome back, everybody. In a previous video, we learned about making pasta alla Gricia. One of the 4 key pastas of Rome, this pasta is marked with using guanciale and peppercorns to give a robust, strong, salty flavor. What we're going to talk about today is what happens if you were to take one of those sheep herders from Rome and drop them off right in China. Let's learn about that on Bon Appetit. Our magically teleported Italian sheep herder would have still been able to use some of his original ingredients, could have still made pasta, would have access to green and black peppercorns. Green are just unripened black peppercorns. But he would have had a new, interesting spice to play with, the Szechuan peppercorns. This mala, or numbing spice peppercorn, has a lemony, citrus note that makes it very floral and light and uplifting. They would have also probably used pork belly instead of guanciale, pork cheek. Pork belly has a lighter flavor, but a lot of fat. But they wouldn't have had access to cheese. Or would they? Now, there are many factors as to why cheese wasn't as prevalent throughout China. But one of them was about how they used their animals. You see, the animals that would produce cheese that we could milk, like cows and yaks, were often used as field hands. They were helping till the fields. They were helping with carrying a lot of stuff. For this reason, the process of milking a cow seemed secondary to all the things you could do with it. So why would you spend time milking it? Well, if you didn't have to take care of a field, you could milk a cow. And we did see this, especially in the northwestern provinces of China. The nomadic people would produce dairy. You can find cheese in China, especially today, but even back then. A magically teleported Italian sheep herder could have found sheep's or cow's milk, though it would have come from nomads, not from the farmers and villagers. Thus, this is pasta of the nomad. We're going to start our pasta of the nomad by putting about a tablespoon of water on medium-high heat. We're going to add 6 ounces of pork belly, which are cut into lardons, or just strips. So add that in to our water. We add this to water instead of oil to reduce the amount of fat in the overall dish. The water buys the meat time for the fat to start to render, so that you're not directly burning it against the pan. Now, stir this occasionally, but let it fry up for about 8 to 9 minutes until it's nice golden brown and has become sort of pork chips. And now we do the weight dance. The weight dance, 'cause we're hungry. Be sure to stir this occasionally while it's cooking. Oh, first time I've seen my neighbor. Weird. Be sure to stir this occasionally while cooking. The meat may stick to the pan a little bit, but that's fine. Just quickly scrape it off. All those delicious bits that are stuck to the pan will just be flavoring for later. It's been about 9 minutes. My pork belly is looking golden and delicious, so I'm going to turn my heat off, and I'm going to pull out all of the meat, leaving the fat rendering still in the pan. Oh, look at that bacony delicious goodness. Because this is not cured like bacon or guanciale, we want to add a little bit of salt, just a pinch, over the top as we are letting it sit here. It's still hot, it's still coated in its own fat. You're going to add a lot of flavor bursting out of this. We've got our salted water boiling, and we're going to add 8 ounces of bucatini. You can add whichever pasta you'd like, rigatoni, spaghetti. Make sure to do the thicker spaghetti if you're going to do that. And just add it to your boiling water, and we're going to boil it for half the time it would take to be al dente. Bucatini is normally al dente at around 10 minutes, so we're going to boil this for only 5 minutes. You know, they say a watched pot never boils, but if it's already boiling, what does it do? It's been 5 minutes. Turn your pan back onto high, and we're going to now bloom our peppercorns in the fat. Right here, I have half a tablespoon of Szechuan peppercorns, a quarter of a tablespoon of black peppercorns, and a quarter of a tablespoon of green peppercorns. So with this on high, just grind it out. If it seems like a lot of pepper, it is, but that's the point. Reserve a little bit for the very end, but otherwise, when this thing is coated in pepper, you're good to go. We're gonna move over about a cup and a half of our starchy pasta water. Don't worry when it gets excited. And then we will move over our pasta. And we will let it continue to cook for the remainder of the time in this peppery, fat water. If the water renders out too much, you can add about 1/4 cup of water at a time, but you want to cook this till just al dente. The thickness and the type of pasta that you're using really changes the amount of water you're going to need. You really just want to adjust it as necessary. Pasta taste test time. About another minute to go. As your pasta is coming to al dente, you now want to add your pork belly back into it, turn the heat off, and wait 30 seconds for it to cool. This is the longest 30 seconds ever. Here I have a cup and a half of shredded Pecorino Romano cheese. I'm gonna add half of it first, and then just stir to incorporate. If you notice that your cheese is clumping in sections and not incorporating well, add some more pasta water to it. Once that's mixed in, add the rest of your cheese. So the goal is to get this well incorporated. You're gonna be stirring for a good minute to 2 minutes. Oh, look at that, well incorporated. We've got that sauce around there. Now let's plate it. Move over a fork full of pasta and add on a few bits of the pork belly. You can also add on additional pepper and Pecorino Romano or Parmesan to taste. So here you have it, pasta alla Nomad. Let's give this a try. Compared to pasta alla Gricia, which this is based on, this is a lot more floral, a lot less heavy, peppery flavor from the telecherries. You get that lemony zest from the Szechuan peppercorns, but the pepper isn't lost by using less, it's just enhanced. This is phenomenal. Salty, creamy, and pork belly is delicious. No, it's not cured, so we had to add a little bit of salt ourselves, but it is phenomenal. You know, a dish like this, a fusion dish, is just about taking the techniques you've learned and trying some different ingredients and looking at where those ingredients come from and how they're used. I think that if you were to magically teleport an Italian out of Rome and into China, they'd be able to make something that reminds them of home, but with a bit of a twist. If you're having a great time, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. High five the hand, ring the bell, dance. We'll see you next time on Bon Appetit. You want to try?
Yeah. That's good.
It's good?
So right.
I know. It's like a hot summertime pasta. Wait. Maybe if a watched pot never boils, and a boiling pot is watched, what if it never stops boiling?